I like Ruth Wilson, and she's basically the main reason I wanted to see this movie. She always kinda looks like she's on the verge of crying, but that's actually great in a role like this. It turns out she's actually British. I had no idea. Those people are just too good with accents. The movie's set in Yorkshire and deals with mainly sheep farmers, and those people have some thick accents. It also doesn't help that they kind of mumble a lot of the dialogue, and I genuinely missed a good chunk of it. I mean, I got the gist of it. I knew what was going on, but some of it almost needed subtitles. But it also added authenticity, something that this movie does not lack. These actors got in there and got their hands dirty. They lived that life, and I 100% believe they were sheep farmers. All the little details just makes everything so convincing. It's pretty clear that the writers knew what they were talking about and had some experience. And by the way, the lush green landscapes are just stunning. Just gorgeous. If it weren't for all the rain, you'd almost want to move there. So the story is essentially about this woman who comes back home to the old family farm. Her brother runs it, but things aren't exactly peachy. Her brother's played by Stanley, by the way. He's really good in this. Great even. As is Ruth Wilson. They both really deliver in this one. Sean Bean plays her dad, and Joe Dempsey is an old friend from back in the day. Clio Barnard, have you been watching Game of Thrones? Because you just cast Gren, Gendry and Ned Stark in your movie. Speaking of Clio Barnard, she made The Selfish Giant, which I've been meaning to watch pretty much since it came out. So for like 5 years now. It looks really good too, and I really need to get on that. Had I made the connection earlier, I would have probably watched that before this one. I actually think it's important to watch people's work in context. It adds something to it. You always learn a bit of something about the filmmaker. Anyway, there's not a lot of music in this. The dialogue is pretty sparse, and overall it's a pretty quiet and contained movie. But the story and the performances are really solid. And I honestly can't really find all that many flaws in it. It's well paced too, and never felt like it dragged, which seems like a rarity these days. I guess the flashbacks weren't my favorite, but they did serve a very clear purpose, so I can't really complain. Maybe it could have done without them, but then there would have probably needed to be more expositional dialogue instead, so I guess I prefer it this way. And the ending could have gone any number of ways, and this one felt a little bit clunky. Overall though, it's a good movie. It's very grounded and real. I could see virtually all of it happening in real life. But it's a pretty dark movie, and not exactly uplifting. So it's definitely not for everyone. And I can see why people might dislike it. It can be a little bit too real at times. It explores complex family dynamics, a bit of politics and bureaucracy, dealing with your past, all of that. And it does it well. It's well shot, well written, well acted. It's just a very solid movie with a slightly weaker ending. But we're only talking about the last few minutes. And it wasn't awful. It sort of worked. Other than that though, I don't really know what else to say. It's a smaller movie, and I doubt a lot of people have seen it, but it's so well executed that I think it does deserve to be seen. So would I recommend it? Yeah, it's really good. So go watch it. Or don't. I'm not your dad.